iHealthTube, visiting with Nina Dockery. She is an expert on digestion and enzymes. What's going on in the stomach?
Well, really, the stomach is where digestion, for the most part, actually simply begins. It is interesting that I teach some classes at a local college, and I had a student come up to me, and we were not even studying digestion at the time, but he was asking me a question about digestion and about the digestion occurring in the stomach. And it was his understanding or misunderstanding that that's where digestion occurs, and that's where we absorb the nutrients from our food. And really that's somewhat incorrect, because except for a very few nutrients, our nutrients from our food, our digestive process actually occurs, the bulk of it occurs in the small intestine. In the small intestine. So very little actually occurs in the stomach. Protein digestion begins, carbohydrate digestion begins, fat digestion begins through the action of some enzymes during that region and that time, but most of it actually occurs in the small intestine. And that is because the food is simply begins to be broken down in the stomach, and then it proceeds into the small intestine, where the bulk of digestive enzymes do their job. And after the food is broken down to its simplest components or nutrients, then those nutrients are absorbed through the small intestinal wall. So really, in the stomach, very little digestion is occurring. So when we think about, oh, my stomach hurts, I've got indigestion, we think of it being in our stomach. It's really usually a process that is occurring in our small intestine.
So that would be where the discomfort would be occurring.
Right. Normally in the intestines.
In the intestines. So we think of it as stomach indigestion, but it's really intestinal indigestion.
Right. Now there are some problems that can occur in the stomach, such as heartburn is usually a product of something going wrong in the stomach. In other words, the gastric acid that is released in the stomach is backing up into the esophagus. But as far as the bulk of digestion, it is actually occurring in the small intestine. And absorption of our nutrients definitely occurs in the small intestine.
Okay, well, what is the importance of intestinal health, good intestinal health?
Oh, it is very, very important, because if we do not have the functioning of the enzymes that are both released by the pancreas into the small intestine, and the functioning of the enzymes that are found in the small intestine, then our food cannot be completely broken down. And if it's not completely broken down, then we don't absorb the nutrients from it through the intestinal wall, and we end up with a multitude of problems with digestion.
And there are a multitude of problems with digestion, and you go to any pharmacy and you just see rows of digestive AIDS. And that's coming from lack of intestinal good health?
Oh, yes. When I first started working for National Enzyme Company around 10 years ago, I read a marketing statistic that around 30 million people had some sort of digestive problems. And each year I would look at that same statistic or a similar one, and that number has steadily increased to the point now it's well over 100 million people.
100 million people have digestive problems?
Right.
And are taking aids for that?
And are taking aids for that, and that doesn't even occur the people who may take an antacid 2 or 3 times a week. And it's to the point that we consider that as normal. I think one of the classic examples of a boiling frog, you put it in water and you slowly heat that water, and that frog will be boiled.
Yes.
But if you put the frog immediately in boiling water, he would jump out or try to jump out. And the same thing is true of our digestive health. It has occurred over a period of years, and we have become accustomed to having poor digestion. And we don't even recognize, I think at this point, that it is a problem. It has become so normal for me to have to take an antacid, or a number of people to have to take an antacid, that has become what is the norm. And we see the vast increase in the number of even prescription antacid products or digestive aid products that have become over-the-counter digestive aids, because the problem is so prevalent, it has become essentially normal for us.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Nina. We'll talk some more about this.
Thank you.